Well, Ed, it's been 4 years, and we're
4 years.
finally sitting here.
I like it 4. My granddaughter. 4. Yeah.
But it's been a fun delivery. You know, we drove together.
Yes, we did.
We saw some sights.
Sights.
Crossed that magical border.
Saw elk. Got
Yeah.
across the border. I was nervous, but it went like you said. It was uneventful, and everything happened just like you said it would. You had all the proper papers filled out, and they were somewhat astounded by the quality of your papers. This is the first time you used that border crossing, correct?
Yeah, it's the first time we've gone across that one.
And it was, other than not finding the Pepsi machine, parked by the Pepsi machine, and it was gone.
Yeah, no Pepsi machine to find. But anyways, we got that done. And how long did that take, do you think, in total?
At the crossing?
Yeah.
Well, after we found the Pepsi machine, we were there half hour.
Half an hour?
Yeah, it wasn't very long.
It's probably one of the longer ones that I've done.
Well, they'd never seen the paperwork that you produced, so it was all new to them. They had to, I think I need this. Oh, I have it. That was the kind of attitude, and it was business as usual.
But now we made it here into your farm.
You've seen the farm.
That's pretty fun. So
Yeah.
Ed's building a beautiful 90 by 120.
80 by 100.
80 by 100.
It's a storage unit to put the toys in, you know.
Yeah, so long enough for
I
you
get
can
back
actually build black prints and your champagne coach in there.
in one space. That's the purpose. That's why it's 80 foot wide. You know,
Or-
80,
Awesome.
80 foot deep. But that far bay is on a 9-inch slab. Half the floor is 9-inch. We don't need to talk about the building, but half of it's for semi weights and the other half's for less than semi weights. But
Awesome.
but,
You know, we did lots of staging and training there, and
Yeah.
we made the car go off
made the car go on.
and cargo on.
on. We washed it. We had a lot of family coming to see things, so Greg says we have to clean this up. So pressure washer, wax on, wax off, and
It looks pretty good.
well, if it just sun would have shined a little more. We are in the winter. It rains here.
Yeah, we made a little bit of noise.
Oh, we've had this dream for quite a while now. We've discussed pulling into the farmstead in Eastern Oregon and leaning on the air horns. That was a new concept. He said, we're going to get train horns, and you're going to drain the air tank. And I said, well, I like this. We'll do this. And so we were all there's a crowd on the slab. They're all taking pictures, and I'd forgotten. And Greg said, you got to blow the big. You have to blow the big horns. So I did, and I leaned on them quite a while. And the neighbors for quarter mile around knows we're in town now, so it's
Yeah,
good.
reverberated quite
Yes, we
nicely
did.
in the little valley there.
Cows were looking at us strangely. Yeah.
Stampede.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
It was.
But now I've enjoyed meeting many of your family, and
Well, a lot of people came to town to see. We've been talking about this for 4 years. So I had family from Eastern Oregon and family from Southern Oregon, and everyone came together to see the new toys. And Ed's coming home with a new toy, so they were all standing in the rain under umbrellas. But they were there, kind of like the ship docking. But it was a history. I had bought a large trailer, and I needed something to pull it with, bigger than the pickup that I currently own. And I started shopping the internet, and I'm not as skilled as some on the internet, but I wound up at your door, and I watched you build an entire truck from scratch. You were almost done with the truck, so I had the benefit of not having to wait for the videos to be completed. I was able to go to your library and watch all the videos from selection, which I thought was great, and how you select trucks and what you look for, and then all the stages and steps and what you do to convert. And I'm a pretty handy guy, and I thought I might do one myself, but after watching all the steps and details you go through, I decided that I didn't want to do all that. So I contacted you to talk about one, and as we started looking, and your input was helpful, because what I thought was important, I found out wasn't. Through your explanation, I realized they weren't. You never told me that you don't want that. You just threw some pros and cons out, and I made a selection, and it was amazing how the ideas changed, because I was smarter after visiting with you. We do that whether we're looking for boats or houses, but it's why you hire experts for their opinions. And then you found me an 880. Greg had called and said, I found something that's a little unusual. After I watched his little video and listened to his introduction, and I went online and researched 880s, I now have an 880 with a really big horn. Yeah. And it's awesome. Sounds wonderful. drives wonderful. I'd heard all of the videos, or looking at videos and reading through the forum about how trucks don't beat you up. You know, we take long drives and we arrive there tired. And I'd listen and read about how they take a long drive and they're not tired. The truck doesn't beat them up. I read that until I rode with you we drove from 7 to 7, like 12 hours.
With a 1 hour time zone difference.
Yeah.
13 hours.
From daylight till dark. You know, Greg says you drive until you feel like changing, and I never felt like changing. I drove the whole distance. I was a pig. I'm sorry. But at the end of the day, we parked at the hotel, and I got on and walked around the truck. I said, you know what? I'm not tired. I'm not beat up. So those are all true statements. So they're designed to go down the road comfortably. And he really goes down the road. And so he's got a very large engine. He loafs along, you know, and it's quiet. It's amazingly quiet for a large diesel truck, you know. I say it's quieter in the cab than my 1-ton Dodge.
Really?
At comparable speeds. At a light now, when you get to hear all those horsepower moving around, that's really a cool feeling. Your adrenaline gets up. It kind of makes the hair stand up on the back of your neck. But I digress.
There's no agenda to this chat. It's fine. What, Ed? You know, we never met.
Oh, we never met. That was a
for a long
phone
time.
conversation, and mostly emails. We operate different hours. I've been in Alaska. I've been in Hawaii, I've been in Minnesota. I'm in construction. I work for a major construction company, and I work all around the United States. I joke, they keep staying, they keep paying, I keep staying, you know. Well, they've allowed me to live the life that I've had, you know, so I'm grateful to them. But the many states, 5 or 6 states now that we've had conversations from, and you went back in over 300 emails.
At 4 years and almost 300 emails.
Almost 300. But it was, I have a random question. What do you think about this? And, well, it can be done, but you give up this. And, you know, so again, there were discussions, learning experiences. So we had many before you found a truck. And then many about what you want and how you want it. And, I couldn't be happier in my selection of a builder or as a person. You're a great guy to be around.
Well, thanks for your trust in me. I'm still so honored that people will work with me at a distance. You know, they watched a couple videos or more than a couple, excuse me, and they'll still somehow find that trust in me, and I thank you for that, to trust me to build,
That's been my
to
pleasure.
build my dream, build my dream truck.
It's your dream?
It was my dream.
Yeah, Greg had called and he says, I've been looking for an 880 for years. He says, it's not the right time for me, but I'd like to go look at this truck. I said, we'll look at it. And as it turns out, on your website, it's like the most watched video of all your entire website. I don't know why that is, but it's people are really interested in the 880s, I guess.
Yeah, I'm in homage or honor of Prince. That was my new logo.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, this is an old shirt.
It's a little shirt.
But yeah, my newer RVHauler shirts had Prince on the front, red, hydraulic bed coming off.
And of course, the name Prince, Greg's unusual, but it's a good thing. He names his trucks rather than says the red 880 or the blue 780. He gives them names, so he names them. You're free to change them, but your daughter named it, right?
That's right. So how that name came to be was Ed had said, I had to hop on a plane.
Well, you did.
To go look at this, truck up in northern BC, and you know, I took video up there to show you. I took lots of pictures.
Did a dyno.
Yeah, well, we did the dyno and oil sample stuff. We'd all of that. Did the inspection right at the Volvo dealership, but I took all these pictures, and my family knows what I've been dreaming about. I sent those back home, and my daughter, she said, "Wow, he looks like a Prince Charming. He's got all his jewelry, you know, chrome and jewels and shiny stuff all over him. He looks like a prince." And I went,
That's it. Yeah.
"There's the name."
Then he called and says, "You can change the name if you wish, but my daughter named me Prince." So, but it sticks. We call him Prince now.
Yeah.
The little red smart car, the wife says, is the little princess now. So.
Prince and Little Princess.
Yeah.
What else can we talk about?
What a wonderful experience it was. I mean, there was nothing we couldn't talk about, and you always responded. That's kind of an unusual trait. Normally, when you get well, I told you, we're dealing with a rental company on equipment. You get slid down to some salesman at the entry level, and you rarely get to talk to the owner of the company. And you answered every question, no matter how silly. And some were silly, but now we have generators, and we had an issue. Where do you put generators? And it was a learning experience. Like I wanted a hydraulic bed. People load with ramps, and the discussion was, what happens when we're 75? This isn't a 3-year project. We're looking long into the future. I said, can you make this thing come off and go down on the ground so I can load it and tie it down where it's comfortable, where I'm not having to climb up and down? And he said, well, yeah, one person did, and we resolved, watched the website where it was done, and you designed a better one, I think. And I told him he was creating such artwork that he had to sign it, and he does. He has a stamp on it, serial number 1, and so it's been signed by RVHauler. So I have signed art. We're driving signed art, so that's kind of cute. But that solved the issue, getting on and down off the truck. And I need a generator. The coach that I have requires 50 amp service. Well, that's a very large generator. Where do we put that? So we looked at putting it between the frame rails and underneath and on top. And he come back and he said, what do you think about 2 smaller ones that wire in tandem? So that was another research project, and now we still have two 3,000 Hondas that fit the toolbox. That was kind of a secondary thought for the toolbox, but it's looks like it's a glove fit. It's perfect. And they're in tandem with a jumper wire on it. They roll out. It's so quiet. We used it yesterday to charge the batteries in the truck when we were killing the battery playing with the lift. But that might be proved to charge the batteries back up.
I love how you can start one,
Yes.
and it's whisper quiet. Like we were on the other side of Prince,
I can hardly hear it.
and you can hardly hear it.
Yeah.
It's so nice. I think that'll be great boondocking, or even in campgrounds where you maybe.
So from that perspective, 2 is better than 1, because you don't need 50 watts. It's much quieter, more economical. 1 small generator, so we can say what we have is better. Actually, I mean, the necessity breeds invention, but it works, and it works perfect.
And now with the really cool new air conditioning that we have inside the sleeper.
That was an issue, a resolvable issue. Talked about there's issues in the cabs of the truck. It has air conditioning. When you're driving, it has air conditioning, and it's very comfortable. When you park, you have to leave the engine running, and truckers do that all the time. But less and less now with the EPA, but and people are looking into that. But you turn the key off, you have no air conditioning. And I said, Greg, how do I get air conditioning? Because I picture taking this truck and my jet boat to Eastern Oregon for 4th of July weekend and camping in my friend's yard. And that's what started the discussion about the big air horns. But I want to rattle his windows. We're gonna rattle his windows. I'm actually giving him instructions which trees to trim so I can get in his yard. And he's doing it in July. But I just sleep in the truck in a camper. Where it's like my own bedroom. It's huge, but it's hot there. And I'd ask you, how do we cool this? And we looked through a whole variety of air conditioning systems, and he finally arrived at what he thinks is the best. And I think it's the best. It's so quiet you can't hear it. It pulls hardly any power. I'm not mechanically inclined, but when it's really quiet, really cold, that's really good. So that's great. You can't even hear it run. So that's great.
Well, we've had a chance to do lots of dreaming. We've talked about fishing a lot over the years.
A lot. In fact, I plan to fish with you. You'll
Looking
be
forward to that.
Bring the boat, the truck, and I'm looking at routes and how do I get there. I'm still working, so I can't get there yet, but one day I will.
Yeah, one day.
But I'm a planner. I ask you, what are most of your customers? You said they're usually mostly retired already, and they need the truck in 4 months because they're going to Texas. Well, I told you I didn't need the truck right away, and part of the reason we had this discussion is if I buy a truck early, like I told him I wanted an 880. I agree, I love the dream. I want an 880, and because you looked at one that didn't pass.
That's right.
We looked at a couple. I decided I wanted to be unique. I wanted to be a one-off, so now he's specifically looking for an 880. But if I buy a truck now, what do I do with it? It's not a bowling ball. You can't put it in the closet. Where do I store it? The building I'm building now was still in the future. I mean, I have lots of plans and they're all culminating, but it takes time to make them happen. And my plans are far farther ahead of me than the purchase. And I bought a truck. Yeah, it's like, ask Greg, what do I do with this? And where do I store it? Then I asked him, I said, "Would you, how about get it to the point where you can show it?" And we wanted a solution where he kept it clean and heated and showed it to people. That was good. And so he actually, he's driving it more than I have.
Yeah, how awesome is that?
Yeah.
There are hundreds, if not thousands, of people that know Prince
Yes.
on site.
Oh, I went to, I was able to, last year I intended to spend the entire time at the rally in Hutchins. And I was able to get there for 2 days. Work gets, the rare workers, it's ugly head, so I was able to get there for 2 days. I walked up to a table, and Greg introduces me as the owner of Prince, and it was a woman on the other side of the table, jumps up and runs around the table, and gives me a big hug. This is kind of startling, you know. I've never had that happen before, even in my youth. But she told me she had driven Prince the year before. And now they have their own hauler, and she drives. And but that's what sparked the interest, was the fact that she had driven Prince. And that's cool.
I think there's a lot of people that have driven Prince, and that's created a spark for sure.
I don't mind sharing.
Well, Ed, it's been awesome.
It's been a great
I'm
time.
going to tell you, fairly early on in our almost 300 emails, I received an email, and it had a different signature on the bottom. It said, "Your friend, Ed." And Ed is my friend. I'm honored that Ed chose and trusted me and my wife and the guys that work with us to build his dream truck, well, which is really my dream truck. Ed has promised that I have visitation rights.
I give him visitation rights. It's a custodial issue, and I give him visitation rights.
But I love my job, and really that one email that Ed sent me was the one that truly cemented for me the understanding that I have a dream job. I love what I do. I'm dealing with, like Ed and Kim, happy people every day. They're people that are dreaming about traveling, they're making plans, they're visiting lighthouses, they're following NASCAR, they're traveling and visiting their grandkids wherever they are. But this RVHauler is just one piece of the puzzle. But I'm honored that you let me build your piece of the puzzle to get you out, and Ed can.
Oh.
So long term, what are you doing? What are you doing with your Prince?
Oh yeah, we have so many thoughts that I don't have any concrete plans other than visiting all the grandkids. They're in different states. We like to drive into Alaska. I worked in Alaska, and I thought someday I'll drive back up to Alaska, look these things over. But it'll be because of what I want to do, you know. And my entire life, with my work schedule, is I would drive straight through someplace because I had to get there to do something. And then so many of the areas we built we're in really cool areas. We're building work, but it's a 6-day a week job, and then we're done. I'm on to the next one. So I don't get to enjoy any of the things that are there. So we worked all around the country, but there's neat things to see. Someday I'll have more time. I'll come back and see these things and take more time to see it. And if you don't do anything else, go visit Greg in Canada. His family's wonderful. They eat really well. But you can sit in the living room of his house and you can look for 100 miles out across the. Is there a name for that? It's not the. What are we looking over?
We're looking over the Alberta prairies.
Alberta prairies. And, in fact, the morning we were leaving, he brings the truck out early before daylight. It's parked right in front of his window, and the sun's coming up behind him. And I tried to take pictures of that. I have some. They're a little dark, but he was trying to surprise me. It was a wonderful time, though. Greg's family's awesome, and his wife's really neat, and the kids are great. His daughter, talk about difference in lifestyles and people. She gets up and she's on her way to school, and she comes through and she says hi and visits, and she comments that one of her tires is bumping because her brother had put her tires on the week before, but it has a bump. She thinks there's mud in it. I heard the pressure washer start. She's washing her car before daylight. Whose daughters do this? Yours.
Yeah.
But both his kids are like that. They're really great. The whole family's great. So I enjoyed my time up there.
Well, our plan is the friendship and relationship is not going to end. We've already got plans for salmon fishing.
Yes.
And I've received invitations to join you at times on a cruise or.
Oh sure, different places.
And I look forward to those things.
Cool.
Thank you for being my friend.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the whole experience. It's been good. And if anybody is looking to do this, they should contact you, because it's, takes all the guesswork out of things. It's a scary world out there, going and buying stuff that you're not familiar with. You know, have somebody, and then all the way down the drive, we drove, it was a 12-hour day, and all day Greg's educating, talking about this and what these switches do, and things to avoid. And, he's a great teacher. You know, we had very little idle conversation. It was always well, we had a lot of idle conversation about sports and things we talked about, but it was educational. And even this morning, we're having breakfast, and he's talking about things we do and how the sensors go in the wheels and things to do and things to avoid. It's always a learning experience. But thank you again.
It's been awesome.
We probably won't do this again, other than we'll use it a lot.
That's the plan.
Someone says, "What are you going to do with that?" And I said, "Well, my kids will use it." I tend not to sell things. They just become family ornaments, family use things. So, and the kids are already arguing over who gets prints. It's cute.
That's nice.
It's
Thanks,
cute.
Ed.
Thank you. Thank you. So that's all I have to say.
What's important here too is that Kim isn't sitting here today, but Kim, thank you. You equally and even more so have shown trust in me to bring an important part of your retirement plans and your travel plans to you, and I want to thank you too. Thanks, Kim.
She really likes the soft seat covers you put in.
She picked them.
She did.
The sheepskin plush sheepskin seat covers, they're pretty awesome.
Yes, we had probably 20 family members yesterday on procession through the truck, and she was the guide to her.
Yes.
She was up in the truck with them, putting out all the stuff. And there was some raised eyebrows, but she showed them the bathroom. You know.
Mm-hmm.
We probably won't use that, but
Okay.
it makes it a motorhome.
It's there for grandkids.
Grandkids.
Yeah. Thank you.
I did enjoy my time in your home. It was great. 'Cause we had a discussion. He said, if you're going to come up and visit, he says, some aren't comfortable in other people's homes. They prefer a hotel. And he had a list of hotels. If you're comfortable, he says, you can come spend your time at my house, at our home, and with my family. And then he did a little video to show me his home and his family, his dogs, and the view out the window. And I'm really glad I did that. At first I thought, well, we all have funny sleeping habits. Some of us are noisy at night. We're not all good guests. And I thought, maybe I should stay at a hotel. And not because I didn't want to stay with you, because I didn't want to impose on you, you know, and you were adamant about coming and staying. What a wonderful experience. And family's great. Like I said, the view was great. You're sitting there looking out the window, and this big fuzzball jumps in your lap. And he tells me it's a dog. I'm really not sure if it's a dog or not, and I really didn't know which end to pat, because it's kind of hard to tell if you've ever seen the video, but I was her friend. You know,
Yes, you were.
I was her friend.
Amy the Pooley adopted you.
I'm not sure what kind of a dog it is, but it's really friendly. It's like the rest of your household. You know? So,
Well, Ed,
you should do that. Thank you again. Thank you again. And having you here, my family's been fun. I've drugged poor Greg around. We've had people in town, and we've pizza parlored and groups. And then out at the farm yesterday in the ring, he's pointing out all the things. Everyone has 1,000 questions, and he's trying to allow me to answer them, but I keep deferring it to him because he's so much smarter than I am and far more eloquent. You know, if you could tell by my tone, it was a good time. So
certainly was a good trip.
It was fun. I had to buy a special ladder so my aging sister could get up and get in the cab of the truck. So she made it. She got all the way in, got all the way out. She liked it. And she was proud of herself for climbing the ladder to get in the truck.
And you blew the train horns for
I
her.
blew the train horns. In our little video, you see her jump and start over. So it was a good time. It's not the end. It's not this. This isn't the end. We will spend much time in the future together. So
Looking forward to it.
thank you. It was a good experience. It's not over.